Hey going everyone, this is Mark Kennedy from Damnations Day. You're listening to According to Metal.
It's time for new metal album reviews.
What you just heard there was Colors of Darkness. It comes off Damnation's Day latest CD called The World Awakens. Now, for those of you that have been with us for quite a while, Mark Kennedy was on our show, who not only is the guitar player, but also the vocalist for the band. Now, that was almost a year ago. Am I right, Jason? Is that about right?
Yeah, probably. Pretty close. About a year ago or so.
And
they were talking. They were in the process of getting this thing out. So
right, and if you recall, no one knew the working title of that CD until it was released right here on According to Metal.
That's true.
Now, Mark was one of our favorite interviews, and this CD, out on Sensory Records, it's their second CD. We even talked about the sophomore slump, right? We talked about that. That was one of my questions to Mark about the fear of the sophomore slump. And this is what he had to say. That's where you're going to plug in that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to come back from that.
Okay.
So all that being said, here's Damnation's Day's second CD, World Awakens, the follow-up to Invisible the Dead, which was a phenomenal CD that came out in 2013, which, if I'm not mistaken, Jason, I think I turned you on to. And I said, look, you got to check out these guys from Australia.
No, they were great.
So,
yeah, and it's Invisible the Dead was a great album, and this is 4 years in the making. So,
right,
what do we got?
And you know my expectations, because probably one of my favorite prog metal bands of all time, Theocracy, I dogged because they had 6 years to come up with a CD that I thought was very unoriginal. So now here we have kind of a similar situation, 4 years in the making, and here we are now with A World Awakens. That being said, and now having listened to that clip, Jason, what are your thoughts on this CD?
Well, there's a pattern I saw when listening to the album. And that, there's a handful of things to say, and I won't, we'll just kind of make this more conversational than anything. But I saw, without getting ahead of myself here, especially for the first 6 or 7 songs, I saw this pattern, and it's not a good one, of good song, not so good. Good song, not so good. Back and forth. So, The Witness is the first song that starts off the album. Starts out great. Heavy enough. Great vocals here. Mark, the one thing I will certainly hand to Mark Kennedy, who, when you go back and listen to that interview, especially, it was like, who's going to be singer? Not it. Oh, crap, it's me. Well, you could have fooled me, because Mark has grown. He was very good listening to, going back and listening to, dude, I'm doing terrible. This is bad.
No, I thought you were doing fine, but
yeah,
okay.
Let me redo my part, at least, if that's cool.
That's fine. I mean, was mine okay?
No, you were fine. I was wretched.
Okay.
So, all right, 3, 2, 1. Well, I have lots of opinion on this. And to be honest, not letting the cat out of the bag here. God damn it. Let me start over again. Fuck.
You fucking Jew.
This is weird because I don't start it. And it's weird for me to come in after the fact. Anyway, sorry. Here we go. One more time. Biv, out of all the albums that we are reviewing in the next week or so, upon recording this one. This is the one I was most interested in doing with you because, again, we don't discuss this prior to hitting record and discussing these now. And Mark's a friend of the program. He's been on the show before. You had mentioned, of course, a sophomore slump being concerned because a lot of bands go through that, right? I mean, are they going to, especially with an album like Invisible the Dead, how many years did they write this stuff, making it exactly the sound they wanted, et cetera, et cetera? Maybe you have to do a sophomore album and you got a year or two to write it and so on and so forth, and maybe it's better, but usually it's not. This is a little different. To your point, this is 4 years in the making, and what direction is A World Awakens going to go into was kind of my thought behind it, and a couple of things that stood out to me. First of all, I went back and really, before I got into this one, went back and listened to Invisible the Dead again, just to kind of remind myself of the Damnations Day sound again and what my expectations could be going into this one. And
I did as well.
Okay, so we're on the same page with that. And one of the things I listened to is when listening to Invisible the Dead again, I really listened to Mark's vocals, and I'm like, wow, these are better than I remember them being. Not that they were bad, but these are actually really good. I have news for you folks. On A World Awakens, Mark has gone into a different stratosphere vocally. He is really grown into a hell of a singer. And the reason why I say that is here's a guy who's a drummer. His, of course, brother's a drummer, as you know, because he's in many other bands as well, Terra Maze and stuff like that. And he was kind of oh crap, I'm the singer. Well, that sucks. Oh well, I guess I'll sing. You could have fooled me because Mark has become incredible. Vocally, he's amazingly good on this album. And there's a lot of songs that as we go on and we start discussing it almost track by track, Biv, that he's the saving grace of the song. Because the song in some instances is a snoozer, or it's a song that's decent at best, and if it wasn't for Mark, it would be something I probably wouldn't listen to again. Like, he is leaps and bounds 4 years later, a much more talented vocalist than he was even last time around. And going back and listening to Invisible the Dead just recently again, going, wow, he's pretty damn good. He's even better now. Way better.
I'm going to totally disagree with you.
Really?
Totally. In fact, I couldn't be any more opposite. I felt like the music had graduated to a level of just phenomenality, if that's a word. And the vocals are wretched.
What?
The vocals to me scream American metal, like that new metal, American metal, which is wretched, which is the whole reason we do this show, is because the metal, the really good metal, most of it is overseas. And what he's trying to sound like here is just so commercialized American bullshit metal.
Oh,
and I
dude,
absolutely
you are high as hell.
It.
No,
I hate it.
No, vocally, here's what I'll say. This is where this is the most polar opposite, I think, review we've ever done.
I think you're right.
Musically, it's way too rock for me. It's way too more commercialized sounding, or way more radio rock, especially that's not getting ahead of ourselves, but like To Begin Again. That's a total radio rock friendly track. It's a definite
I think that's the most heartfelt track on the CD.
It's a great song, and vocally, he's awesome. Like I said, vocally on this album, I think he's great. I think where I will differ on you, especially on this one, is I think musically, it's a bore of an album. If there's one word I had to put on this album, it's the word safe, because that's what it is. There's nothing that stands out, whether it's drums or guitars or leads or anything that makes me go, that's fucking incrable.
How about this?
There's some touches here or there.
How about the Auto Counterfeit? What do you think about that song?
Well, let me go through my notes then. Okay, so here are my notes specifically on the Auto Counterfeit. So rather than just verbatim, I have some notes. Here are my bullet points. The first metal track that's definitely metal to me and picks up the pace a bit as well, especially coming after To Begin Again. That's the first song on this, and that's the 7th track. That's the first song, 7 tracks in, that goes, okay, that's a metal song. The other
Okay,
six to me, with the exception of The Witness, which is metal at times too, and you have Colors of Darkness, which was very proggy at times. The rest of it is just a very safe, slow, plodding metal sound. Or a rock sound to me. It doesn't sound metal at all. The Idle Counterfeit's the first song where I go, okay, that's a heavy metal track.
I have 2 bullet points. The first one is, what the fuck? The second one is just bad American style metal.
Oh, dude, I don't know what you're listening to.
Dude, look, they took what could have been. Now, we talked in our interview with Mark about one of the conversations we had with him was, hey, look, some people want to peg you into this category. Some people want to put you in this genre. How do you feel? And even you said, hey, look, we'll just call it good metal. And we'll leave it at that. They went from that to, I want to be bad American metal, radio-friendly wretchedness with those vocals.
No, see, I think musically they went that direction. Vocally, I couldn't disagree more. I think Mark is great, and there's some songs. Let me give you an example. As far as some songs that I think just like Into Black, which is nothing more than acoustic guitar, and Mark, who kills that song. He's awesome on that.
You know me, I'm a sucker for acoustic ballads,
yeah,
right?
He's great on that song.
Here's my note.
The song World Awakens, by the way. What about the title track, which is the first single they released? And that is my disappointment, is when I hear the song World Awakens, which was the first song they released, I went, shit, yes, this is going to be great. Unfortunately, I have those metal bands that release a single or release their first something off of an album, and you go, why the heck is that the first song they chose? Because there's so many better ones. In this instance, that's not the case. This is the best song on the album, and unfortunately is like the only one of redeeming quality, and unfortunately it's a song I'd heard many times before listening to the album, so I'm kind of like, yeah, I know this song already.
Yeah, here's my notes. Boring, unoriginal, flat with vocals that are drowned out.
Dude, I don't know what you're doing. I couldn't disagree more.
I'm going to say this is the first time we've been completely opposite on everything on the CD. We can agree on nothing on the CD.
Nothing, not one thing. Because
in fact, I found the CD so bad, I want to call Mark and just apologize to him right now, because I'm giving this a 5.5 out of 10.
Okay, well, here's the funny thing. I don't know from a score standpoint how off we're going to be. Because all I can say at the end is, because vocally, I like it a lot. You don't. That's fine. Musically, you could say it's more mature. And we said this previously when we were doing Stryker's album, which Stryker's album sounds more mature, but a lot of times people say mature is a substitute for shitty. Or not as, pushing the needle, more safe, if you will.
Not as angry.
That's what this is to me. If I had to sum up this album, and I just said it and I'll say it again, it's safe. Going back to listening Invisible to the Dead, that is such more of a metal album to me. Like, that is a heavy metal album. This, again, is a rock album. And that's fine. I mean, we do rock reviews on this show, too. So that's okay, but I didn't go into it thinking I was getting a rock album. I was expecting a metal album, and that's not what I got. And so to me, it's just a safe album. The pros, for me, Mark vocally has become flat out great. I think he's really good here. I don't understand what you're listening to. Production-wise, it's incredible also. Sounds great, a lot of atmosphere and feel to the songs. It sounds like there's a lot of members of the band that aren't there because the songs have a lot of atmosphere to them. I don't know how to describe that.
No, but the reason they sound like they're not there is because it's mixed horribly.
Oh, see,
production value on the CD is bad.
No, that's not true either. What the hell is going on here? But the problem is there's more cons than pros. I mean, the cons for me is it's just boring. To me, there's nothing that makes it a must-have for me. There's nothing that, it's one of those, like, I've heard it was okay, but I'm probably not going to go back to it and really listen to it, and that's what sucks, is Mark's a super cool dude, one of our favorite interviews we've ever done. His vocals to me are so much more powerful than they were the last time around. But when I hear The World Awakens and it comes out and I dig it and I'm going, okay, if this is what the rest of the album's going to be, hell yes. Instead, That's their high watermark. The rest are either just flat out bad or boring. And so for me, it's 6.5 out of 10. So we're not very far off score-wise. It's just we heard the album in two totally different ways. I think the production quality is fine. I think vocally it's really good. I think musically it's uninspired. You think musically it's